20 years ago, if your car's battery died, you bought a new one. You swapped it out. What, 15 minutes on the driveway? And that was it, you were back on the road. Today, if your new car's battery dies, for most people without the diagnostic and coding software, it's going to mean a trip to the dealership for a dead battery. Or any other number of menial jobs for that matter, like the set of brake pads that needed a £2,000 tool and a subscription to swap them out. Thing is, more and more people than ever before are waking up to the ruse of modern cars and saying enough is enough. I just want something reliable that my local mechanic can still fix, that I can get parts for and isn't going to bust the bank. Which is great, but you've probably noticed, look at what that's doing to good used car prices. They are rocketing. I mean, take a look at Honda CR-Vs, car I'm very familiar with, probably worked on hundreds of these over the years. Great car, but we're now into 5 figures for a low mileage Mark IV, 5 figures. So what, 11, 12,000 pounds for a nice low mileage example of a Mark IV? I mean, this is a car that you could have picked up 5 or 6 years ago for 6,000, 7,000 pounds. And don't get me wrong, it's not just about CR-Vs. This anti-snob appreciation trend, it applies to almost all the well-known, reliable, repairable cars. Stuff that a couple of years ago really wasn't all that desirable. So what can you do to avoid overpaying without succumbing to the finite nature of the newer options? Well, first thing you can do is get nuanced on your car selection. I mean, everyone knows a CR-V fits the bill. It's reliable, it's repairable. Everyone knows a Toyota Corolla fits the bill. Again, because they're reliable, they're repairable, you can get parts for them, which is why we're watching their values jump. What you need to do here is find a model that's still somewhat under the radar, an untapped resource, if you like, that offers these same traits, these same survivability traits, but maybe just never quite got the same press, the same airtime as others. Good example, Mazda 3s. I've thought these are underpriced for quite a long time now. If you get one with a 2-litre Skyactiv petrol engine, they're reliable, they're easy to work on, they've got a massive aftermarket support network. All of the traits that you want when you're thinking about longevity. Now, we could do a video on, say, under the radar cars in the future. Problem with that is, when we start talking about them, they're not going to be under the radar for long, are they? So do your research. Find something rust-free, out with the really obvious models that have seen this big appreciation trend. That being said, what you don't want to do here is go too obscure. Thing is, you want to be able to find parts for these things as time goes on. So should you ding a rear light or need a new bumper, I mean, it happens, you want to be able to get them. And keep in mind that OEM parts, they can start to run dry after 25, 30 years. The OEM, the manufacturer, aren't making them anymore or not making so many. But if you pick something that's got an element of popularity to it, that's got a bit of a following, then the aftermarket will continue to supply parts for them. What you want to do here is ride that line between saturated popularity and obscurity. So as I say, do your research. The other way that you can approach this, right? I'll tell you, using my little Civic that I picked up as an example, it's to buy the car from the right seller. So let me tell you what I mean. This little Civic, bought it a couple of weeks ago, and I mean, it's a Civic. It's the former saturated popular choice, isn't it? Even if it is a little bit older. But here's the thing, to the seller that I bought this from, it was just an old Civic. Don't get me wrong, it had been a well-loved car, but the timing belt was due, the rear wiper motor's gone, the AC needed gassed up, amongst a whole host of other little odds and sods jobs. Nothing big, minor stuff that just accumulates over time. But in their mind, it was just an old Civic that now had a couple of problems that they just honestly wanted to get moved on. So when I came along and bid them what I thought was a fair offer, they bit my hand off. And that is exactly my point. We're at this pivotal stage now where for a lot of owners, especially if they've had the car a long time, they just don't see the value in them anymore. throw in a couple of small problems, and it's maybe even starting to lean into burden territory for them. They may even see you as doing them the favour, taking the car off their hands and giving them a decent offer for it. It used to be that beauty was in the eye of the beholder. Now it's more like beauty is in the eye of the informed buyer. And look, thing is, this isn't going to last forever. There will come a point when snagging bargains like this, it just isn't going to happen. So if you're going to move quick. This whole video, it's not really about choosing a car per se, like a model. It's bigger than that. It's about choosing to maintain independent ownership of your car. It's about autonomy, it's about rejecting software blocks and subscription models and planned obsolescence that we see all too often with new cars. In the 2010s, the industry completely normalised car finance. It grew meteorically because the public became conditioned to it. Suddenly, taking on a £300–400 monthly car payment, it became commonplace, it became the done thing. This closed loop part and service approach that we're now seeing, that is the 2020s equivalent. The public, once again, are becoming conditioned to it. Any little menial problem, straight back to the main dealer and main dealer pricing and main dealer software. So my advice here, embrace the anti-snob in you. Let the Joneses run ahead. Enjoy the liberation that comes with a car that you don't mind picking a ding up on, that you can get a headlight bulb for a £5. And when you do find the one, so to say, I only mention this because it might be genuinely useful. Please do bear in mind that all our channel viewers get 20% off HPI checks from Vehicle Score, so that you don't wind up buying something that proves to be even more hassle than a 2026 EcoBox because of some hidden salvage damage or finance or something like that. As ever, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button, it really helps. Hit the like button, and also let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Genuinely, please do that. For me, back to fixing this old car.